where real estate agents from around the globe come together
to grow, collaborate,
and expand their business.
Where we take our individual fires
and put them together and make one big fire.
This is the Honey Badger Nation.
Welcome to the Hive, everybody. I am here with Amanda Maillet. She is she's not brand new anymore, but she was brand new when she joined us at eXp. And so we're going to just chat a little bit about her journey with eXp. And okay, so we're going to just dive right in. So Amanda, how long have you been a realtor now? Can you hear me?
Hi. So, yeah, I think there's a bit of a lag there, but I think we're good now. So, no, I think we're good. So I am new to the real estate business. Well, I guess not as new as I was when I joined, but I've been doing it for less than a year. So I was looking back earlier today, and I can't believe it, but I'm almost at that 1 year mark. I think it was mid-June. So that's super exciting, and yeah.
So, what were your initial thoughts about eXp when you first heard about the company?
Yeah, so to be honest, I was skeptical because especially coming on as a brand new agent, it's intimidating when you hear about a new brokerage, right? So it's intimidating because instantly your first thought is, oh, I got to go with one of these big names, right? So I was skeptical, I will say that. Yeah. But with that being said, as soon as I heard anything about it, it was like, okay, what's the catch? Like, what am I missing here, right? But that's kind of just what my first thought process was going into it, I guess.
Right. Yeah. I was the same. I was like, but nobody, has anybody even heard of eXp? That was one of mine. So when you decided to be open-minded about, the opportunity, what did you find most compelling, or what most impressed you about the business model of eXp?
Yeah. So I think for me, there was a couple important pieces for me coming in, especially as a new agent. I think one thing that a lot of people, I mean, every agent knows this, but a lot of clients, I guess, and people looking up from the outside, they don't realize the money that you put into your business. They don't realize how much money it takes to start up your business, to get into real estate. So I think one thing for me as a new agent that was compelling was when you're looking at the monthly fees and you're like, oh, okay, that's doable, right? That they're a cheap fee, even commission, right? Like the commission split 80-20, and then once you hit your $16,000 cap, you get 100%. Like it's very compelling because I want to know as an agent coming in, I'm putting the work into, these sales and these transactions. I want to get the most out of it. And especially, I mean, every agent probably feels that way, new or, experienced, but especially coming in, like I'm coming in brand new, I'm budgeting, for all of these expenses, but I've also had no income and I don't know when I'm going to get income from this. So that was super compelling to me. I mean, there's so many things about eXp that would attract, all kinds of different agents. For me, being brand new, obviously, for me, it was a team thing too, right? And what support am I going to get? What learning opportunities are there? Because I mean, at the end of the day, the courses you take to become a realtor, you don't learn how to be a realtor. Like you really don't. So it's stressful, right? When you're starting out. So that was big for me too, right? What learning opportunities are there for me? So that's probably what was most compelling for me. Obviously, you may have had a different experience because you were a more experienced realtor. So you may have looked at some of the other things like the revenue, right? From bringing other agents on and things like that. But that was just my standpoint at the time.
for sure. And I mean, I didn't even, as a new agent, knowing what a cap is, I think is super beneficial, because I didn't even know that there was such thing as a cap. So when I heard that eXp had a cap, I was like, what is a cap? I don't understand this. It means like what? So anyways, that's
For sure.
something that I was like, you know, as a new agent or something, understanding what that is beneficial for sure. So I guess in the terms of your hesitations and like, what did you feel that you were like maybe not so sure about when it came to this style of brokerage, cloud-based brokerage?
Yeah, so, and that's exactly where my hesitations were. So for me, I mean, this is my first time working in the real estate business, but every other job I've ever worked at, you know, it's in office, right? So you're going to work every day, you're going in office, you're meeting with your colleagues. And I've always found that's, I mean, for me to learn, I need that interaction with my teammates, with my colleagues. I need to be able to ask, you know, questions, that type of thing. So my biggest hesitation was, okay, what is this going to look like? We're cloud-based, so I'm going to be at home, you know, I'm going to be working at home, which is fine. I mean, I love working at home, but how is that going to look support-wise? How am I going to get the support that I need while being this cloud-based brokerage? So that was my biggest hesitation. And then I'm sure later on we can kind of get into what came out of that and how I feel now anyways.
Yeah, for sure. So did you interview any other brokerages?
Yeah, so I did. I definitely did my research in terms of I did meet with Royal LePage, and I met with Exit Realty as well. And then I did my research. There was some phone calls had with some of the other brokerages, but those were the two I actually met with. And I mean, at the end of the day, you know, different brokerages definitely, you know, offer different things. There's pros and cons to every brokerage, essentially. But for me, it was a no-brainer, I guess. And when meeting, I had gut feelings, right? So when you go into certain interviews, you walk out feeling a certain way. You walk out. So I knew that I was kind of on the fence too. Like I wasn't even 100% certain after my interviews, where I watched that video, the eXp, it's like I knew right away. And I didn't have that feeling with the other brokerages I interviewed with.
Right, for sure. So what pushed you off the edge to decide to go with eXp then?
So for me, I just felt like overall, eXp, you know, checked off every box that I was looking for. One thing for me that I really appreciated was when I started out, you know, instantly they threw us into the new agent bootcamp. I forget if it was 10 weeks or 12 weeks, but it was, I don't remember, but right away. So every week you get thrown into, so you're a new agent. And like I said, the courses don't teach you how to be a realtor. So you're really getting thrown into, you know, the deep end, literally, because you have no idea what you're doing. So, I mean, it was the learning opportunities for me. I mean, eXp, we've got eXp World, so you can go in, you can, you know, do any training you want every day. Like it's amazing. Let alone, you know, that boot camp that we had, team support, even though we're cloud-based, I get, you know, more team support, I find, than I have ever at any job I've ever worked at in person with people. So that's amazing. Obviously, you know, the numbers made sense to me. And even though, you know, I'm not, because I'm still building my business, I'm still building, you know, my brand and who I am as a realtor, I haven't really stepped into that, you know, agent attraction piece yet, where, you know, I'm trying to, you know, bring other people on and you've got that, the revenue from that as well. However, it's such a, like it sits in my mind all the time, knowing for my future, right? And future planning and where I can go with eXp and all of the different opportunities. And then I think the other thing is too, is, you know, it's that competition piece, right? That I feel like, I mean, everybody gets competitive. You're a realtor at the end of the day, you know, your colleagues are, I guess, kind of your competition. But with eXp, I find, you know, we're more of a team, because if you do well, I do well, right? So I'm happy you're doing well. So it's such a different, it just has a different feeling to it, which is what I needed coming in because I'm brand new. So I don't want you to be like, oh, well, maybe I don't want to tell her my secrets or my tips and tricks because, I want to keep that to myself. Like everybody's so open. And I think it's, that notion of, we're all part owners essentially of this company, right? We all have shares into this company. So we're all trying to get each other to succeed. So that was the biggest thing for me. And I feel like I'm part of a community, which is what I love.
Yeah. What's that saying about all waters rise the tides or something? I don't know what it is. I'm so bad at like remembering those little sayings. But anyways, all water rises the tide or something. Anyways, so now that you are an owner of the fastest growing real estate company on the globe, which is like so phenomenal to be part of, and it's such a little thing here right now. Like some people know about eXp and some people don't, but it is literally smashing historical records in the real estate industry, which is really cool to be right part of that. It's amazing. So as a new agent, do you feel that eXp is providing you with enough coaching and training to help you kind of set yourself up for success?
Absolutely. So like I said earlier, right off the get-go, it was, we're going to throw you into this boot camp, which essentially is a weekly class, I guess, is the way I'll word it. You go to class and they bring different realtors from eXp from all over Canada. They guest speak and they really fill you in on, the things that are important in order to build your business. So every week would be a new topic. And that's how you learn. You learn from your colleagues, you learn from other realtors and what has worked for them and what hasn't worked for them. So that was super helpful right from the get-go. But not only that, obviously I have these options in the eXp world to go into and, I can do training at any time, but I find, just our team as a whole, we've got a really good team built and, we meet 2 times a week virtually. We've started our in-person meetings as well, now that the pandemic has calmed down a bit, but so I feel like, even with we're meeting twice a week, we're focusing on training things. And we talk about what we need to improve on and okay, so I need to improve on this. Okay, next week we're going to do, a session on how we can, improve on that. And everybody has their own input. Everybody has their own success stories and things that they may have failed on, which is how you learn, right? So everything, I honestly, I learn every day. Every time I leave some sort of training session, whether it's through eXp World, whether it's Bootcamp, whether it's, with our own group of eXp agents, every time I leave a session, I've got notes and I'm like, okay, like, I feel like I've learned something. This is how I'm going to implement it now into my business. And this is how I'm going to grow. So absolutely. And it's endless opportunity to learn.
That's what I love about it too, is the fact that, the old style brokerage, it was all like I can't tell anybody what I'm doing because I can't have them steal my idea. And we were earlier today, I'm sharing all of my tips and secrets and this is what works really, really well for me. And the funny part is I shared one of my mailers with you guys that I found super successful. And it's funny because I got one of Annabella's in my mailbox and I sent it to her and I was like, good job. She used the exact same template as me. It was good. And normally, so if that were a competitor of mine, I would have been like, they stole my idea. You know what I mean? So it's really good to have that open kind of giving sort of perspective in things and be happy to, just share everything. So how do you feel about the cloud-based brokerage? Is it what you thought it would be? Is it harder? Can you get a hold of people? Because a lot of people, I believe, have, hesitations with, I can't just walk into an office to my broker and get answers. But essentially you still can. It's just, you're picking up the phone or you're emailing to make an appointment to speak to them on the phone or whatever. So how do you feel about that?
So I will say it's not what I expected, but in a good way. So, I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be awful. However, I wasn't expecting to, have the support right then and there like we do have. So for example, I mean, yes, we're cloud-based, but I feel like we do have a pretty solid team, and we have like a Facebook chat, right? So it's like, if I have a silly question where, it is maybe an easy answer, I'll just throw it in the chat because I know that, I don't know how many of us are in there, but I know that somebody's going to respond to me in minutes, and there's always a response. If it's something a little bit more complex that I need, then I'll either try calling someone, and usually I would say at least by the second person I try, somebody's picking up, or somebody's at least messaging me saying, hey, like, give me a few minutes, I'll call you in a minute, right? So I've never had to wait for an answer. I've never had to wait. I've never felt like I was, someone was annoyed that I was calling them or annoyed that I was asking any questions. So it's been super amazing. To be honest, I can't even, imagine it to be any different. I love working from home. I love being able to work anywhere, right? As long as I have my computer, I can essentially work. I can work at the trailer. I can work, anywhere. So I really do like that because, we can just access each other wherever. And I think the other thing too is, like, I'm just thinking about our team specifically. Like, we can kind of be all over the place too, right? Mm-hmm. So we've got, someone in Oshawa, we've got Kingston and Napanee, we've got Marmora, and you're in Campbellford. And so we've got, people from all over, which is super helpful too.
And it's like, hey, can you show a house for me in, Sterling tonight? It's like 2 minutes from you. So it's like.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and that's kind of neat because you don't get that in the office, right? I mean, you go into the office and everybody, is from, you're all there. Whereas like, I just listed my parents' house, for example, in Oshawa, right? And obviously I don't do Oshawa. I'm in Quinny. But I was like, hey, Jeff, like, I need some advice, right? Like, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think? And because he works out of Oshawa, right? He was able to, assist me and not expect anything from it either. I think that's super important too, right? Because we're all a team, right? We're working, together. So for me to get advice from you or whoever, you're not expecting that, if I get a deal out of that, you're going to get some money out of that. You're just really honestly helping me with, giving me that advice or, that information. So it's been amazing. To be honest, I wouldn't think any differently. My thought, and I remember when I joined, I remember you saying this to me, this is where the world is moving to, right? There's going to come a day, and I think a lot of people have learned with the pandemic that people can work remotely. So this is where, the world is going. Why not jump on now? Like, you want to be part of the change now, right? You want to be at the beginning of that change. Exactly. And I remember you saying that to me, before I joined him when we were talking about it, and it stuck with me because, especially as a new agent, I want to be part of this amazing brokerage that is, look at how much we're growing every single day, right? I can say that, I was at, the front end of that, and that's so cool.
Yeah, I agree for sure. So one more question. Two more questions. So what are you looking forward to the most with eXp and your business and that? And then I'll jump in with a fun one at the very end.
Sounds good. So I think it's super exciting to just see the growth that this even in the last year, where every single day when you're seeing people joining from the area too, and you're like, oh, this is amazing. We're actually becoming, or even when you call a client and you tell them where you're from and they're like, oh yeah, I've heard of eXp. You're like, oh, that's amazing, right? So I think the growth, and I'm just looking forward to, my plan is to be with eXp forever. So I'm looking forward to, my future planning, growing my business. I would love to get to the point where I can, start attending some of these attraction events and, really just become a part of this community.
Yeah, for sure. And I love the fact that our community isn't limited to just our local community, right? Like my husband and I just went to a retreat in Seaside, Florida with a bunch of eXp people. It was a coaching event that our group held. And so like there's people from all over the world there. That's like, I would have never really normally probably had the opportunity to meet people like this doing real estate all over the world. And it's so cool to sit down with these people and get their take on real estate and what they do in their country or what they do in their town. And it's like, cool, I never even really would have thought of something like that, and I'm going to try it where I live. And it's kind of cool.
It is cool, definitely.
What is we talked about this yesterday, and I can't remember what you were talking about. What is the craziest thing you've either seen so far or happened to you as a realtor?
Yes, so we were talking. So I feel like my experiences probably aren't as crazy as some of, you guys have been in the field a lot longer than I have. I've got like 11 months. And so I think I'll tell you a story that another agent told me, but first I'll tell you kind of, for me, it's been, just some weird stuff I've seen, carpet in a bathroom or a bathtub, in the middle of a bedroom, things like that you walk in and you're kind of like, oh, okay, that's new, that's different. And it actually, ends up being a conversation piece with your client.
Yeah, never seen that before.
Yeah, but and I think we all have our fair share of, lockbox stories. I've had issues unlocking a door in front of a client, and I'm sitting here like, wow, this is, I swear I know how to unlock a door, but, and so there's, just little things. But I do feel, and I did share this yesterday, but I'll share it just so that other people can hear it, because I thought this was really funny that another agent told me literally like a week ago. And I would die if this happened to me, but she was telling me that, because sometimes what'll happen is, people have pets, so they'll let the agents know, hey, just keep an eye out, don't let the dog out, don't let the cats out, that type of thing. So this agent was telling me that one of her first, when she was a new agent, and there was on the listing, it said, do not let the cat out. So she's like, okay. So they go into their listing, they're walking around. They didn't see the cat, so they're like, okay. So they do their showing, and she gets back to her car, and she sees a cat on the driveway. And she's like, oh my God, I let the cat out. I didn't even realize. So she picks up the cat, puts the cat in the house, locks the door, and leaves. Turns out that was not their cat. It was a stray cat, and I guess the cat ended up destroying the entire house. So that was, I died. When she told me that story, I was like, that's, I don't know if someone could top that.
And then like seeing this, like not your cat in your house, so that's just like destroyed your whole house.
I feel bad for the cat that, was in there too. They were probably like, why is there another cat in here?
Yeah, the cat was probably like, get me out of this house.
Yeah, crazy. So I don't have any like that yet, knock on wood, hopefully ever.
Oh, they were I'm sure.
But it's been a whirlwind.
I did crawl through a window one time to open a door. So there's been lots of funny stories, but I look forward to actually hearing a bunch of different, because you never know what people experience, right? So, but anyway, yeah. We're super happy to have you in our group. We love having you, and we're excited to all grow together, and hopefully we can share our experiences, and hopefully there's other agents that can, connect with us and see, what we went through, and maybe consider eXp as an option for them too.
Definitely. I will say it's the best choice I ever made, and I have no regrets at all.
Awesome. Me either. Actually, I do have one regret, and it's not joining sooner.
There you go.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for having us and listening in, and we'll talk to you again. Bye.
Sounds good. Thanks.